I'm Mette Nielsen and this is Beth Dooley, and we're making a recipe today from our cookbook Savory Sweet, which is a preserving book, and we're kind of taking traditional Scandinavian recipes and giving it a modern new twist. Yeah, so these are red currants that I grew in my garden right outside the window here. These, of course, you can see are frozen because it's a bit time consuming actually to prepare or prep the currants. But the nice thing is you can pick them when they are ready in the summer, throw them in the freezer, and then cook it in the winter if you want to. But I want to show you how you actually, this is how they grow. And the easiest way to get them off these stalks is actually to use a fork. And you just take the fork and you just strip it off like that. But today we're going to make a relish.
Unlike most recipes where you saute vegetables, we're just going to dump the oil, and it calls for 2 tablespoons of oil. You can tell that I'm measuring very carefully, but really you just want to fill the bottom of the pan, and then we add the onions and the red peppers all at once because we just want to soften them. We're not really browning them, we're just softening them. It's nice and soft. We've been cooking it in a little bit of olive oil, and then what we're going to do is turn it into another dish, get it out of the way. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to add half of the white balsamic vinegar, which is really a nice vinegar because it's not, well, first of all, it doesn't have that dark flavor of a dark balsamic vinegar, but it's a little bit softer than, say, apple cider vinegar or red wine, any of the wine vinegars. Not quite as bitter. So we're adding ginger, this is the hot pepper, garlic, and then we're adding the spices, and they all go in at the same time. It's a very, very simple process. So we're just stirring these together.
And when we measure these things, we're not all that accurate. So when you're chopping up, you know, your onion, garlic, peppers, whatever, even if we say a 1/4 cup or whatever, if you have a little bit less, a little bit more, don't worry about it, just put it in there. It's not science.
Right,
it's
exactly.
Food. But now we're just cooking that a little bit, and then we're gonna put the rest of the vegetables back in, and then it's just gonna sit and simmer, and then at the end we're gonna add the red currants.
We do add some sugar to it as well.
Yes.
Not a lot. So this will be a savory sweet kind of jam relish, which would be terrific with chicken or pork.
Or salmon.
Salmon, really good with salmon. We'll show you that in a little bit. So that's what we're doing here. And we're cooking this until it comes down to almost, I want to say we're evaporating it by about a half. So again, it's inexact. You just sort of watch the pot. So look now at how nice and bubbly this is and how far down it's reduced. It's almost getting glazy and thick. And at this point, we're going to slow down the heat just a little bit and add the sauteed veggies, the rest of the vinegar, and the currants, the red currants. And we'll add the ones that Mette just so nicely prepared for us. And this all gets stirred together so that this is how the jam comes together. It's really simple.
Depending on how you want to serve it, you can also leave it much more runny. You know, I think this would actually be really great stirred in with like some cooked rice or something. That's another way of using this. So we always say with these preserving recipes that, you know, the times, it really depends on what you want to do. If you want to make a jam, you cook it more. If you make it a sauce, you cook it less. It's supposed to be a relish, so with that you really don't want to have too much liquid, but it's not bad if it has a lot of liquid. So it all depends on how much you really want to cook it. So the relish has now cooked down, so there's still some liquid in there. You don't want it to be completely dry, but I think it's ready. So the amount of time will depend on when you add the currants, whether they were frozen or not. But a lot of it is just visually looking at it. So we think it's good, so we're gonna turn it off and put it in jars. And again, because we're not really making these shelf stable, we don't worry about having these being hot. We have just cleaned these jars and they've just been sitting here to air dry. And the only special thing that I think everybody that's gonna be canning should invest in is one of these things. So this is, I can do this.
I know, I'm gonna take, this is the star anise, I'm just gonna pull it out.
Yeah, but this stainless steel filler for these jars is really like the best thing. You can get them in plastic too, but I'm not a fan of plastic things. So I do that. So here's another one.
Yep.
So you want to get those star anise out, and we should have 3 in here, and we'll find
the next one.
We'll find the other one in here. But basically, you're just spooning this in here. And the nice thing about using the little funnel thing is that you keep the edges pretty clean. I mean, you still make a little bit of a mess, but it's okay.
Oops.
That's all right. So if you're going to be freezing these, I have, through experimentation, found that you need about ½ an inch of clearance. And it's, as Magic will have it, it is pretty much exactly as the edge of the bottom of the funnel. So when you lift this up, it's kind of ready. And I'm going to just get a towel.
And the reason why you want to fill it up to there is because if you are going to freeze it, it will begin to expand.
Yeah, and it doesn't expand a whole lot. For water bath canning, they have totally different things, but for the freezing thing, I've done this for years now, ½ an inch. Then you put the lid on, you screw this on, just kind of finger tight, let it sit, and once it's completely cool, you can freeze it or put it in the refrigerator. So this is really all you do. Or if you don't want to go through this step, you could just put it, in a Tupperware container, or if you're going to be using this right away, it will probably last for many weeks in the refrigerator. So that is all there is to it.
All right.
There you have it.
There you go.
That's it.